What's up, guys? Sports Snippets, Dennis Sullivan here. How in the world are you doing? Heading into a very late Monday night / early Tuesday, as we are now about a month into the baseball season, Major League Baseball, and something that I always love to take part in, fantasy baseball. So I'm here to just share with you some tips, if you will, some personal insights and experience that I have over the years playing fantasy baseball. I've been playing since 1992, and I've had a lot of fun doing it. So just some trends that I've picked up on, some things that have worked for me, and I'll get into that to a certain degree. If you do like the content of this particular video, go ahead, hit that thumbs up, that would be awesome, and subscribe. Sports Snippets with Dennis Sullivan. Also, hit the notification bell for future videos, that would be great. This is the first video I've ever done that is fantasy sports related, and I love taking part in fantasy sports, whether it be head-to-head league or daily contests, which are now, of course, very popular. My main experience, of course, is head-to-head. I say of course, mainly because the daily contest is something that's really grown in popularity these last few years, obviously. And I also like that as well. I just don't have quite as much as experience with the daily contest. But some of the thoughts and comments I have and that I want to share with you in these next few moments, I would think would help for either a head-to-head league or daily contests. Either way should be somewhat helpful or at least interesting to you. So let's get into it, guys. Some guys that and just for starters that I'm really big on this year. First and foremost, when it comes to a catcher, if you're in a head-to-head league, you've got to get a reliable catcher. I can't stress it enough. You've got to get a catcher that's going to be there for you, almost like the reliable employee in the office. You need a reliable catcher on your team. There's nothing worse than to have a catcher who's just sporadic with his play, right? A guy that's really helped me over the years, at least for a few seasons, I've been lucky enough to have him, Salvador Perez from the Kansas City Royals. What I really like about him is that if he's not behind the plate, he's a good enough hitter where they can use him, of course, as a designated hitter. Of course, he plays for Kansas City Royals, an American League team that utilizes the DH. So Salvador Perez would be a perfect example as far as getting a reliable catcher, a guy you can count on. One other thing that I'm big on, this is just personal preferences, if you will, in the world of fantasy baseball. One other thing I always like to see what's going on with the Colorado Rockies. Here's why. You can get some under-the-radar guys, I'm going the wrong way here, under-the-radar guys on the Rockies. If you're in a head-to-head league, you can bench them if you want when they're on the road. When they're at home, chances of the Rockies scoring a little bit more than your average team, or maybe they lose the game, but it's 8-7, 10-9 like that, go up a little more in my opinion. It's a good hitter's park, obviously playing in Colorado with the thin air, the ball flies, jumps off the bat. We've seen plenty of scoring over the years in Colorado for the Rockies. A guy I have my eyes on, I am watching right now, CJ Cron. Well, I'm not watching the game right now. Maybe that's a good idea after this video. CJ Cron, Monday night. Now they're on the road. Rockies are playing in San Francisco. Why do I bring up CJ Cron? Okay, relatively notable name, right? We've heard of him before. Played for the Angels. He's consistently hitting fifth for the Rockies. You gotta like that when they go back home. You gotta like, especially if they're in the 1 to 6 spot in the order for the Rockies and they're playing at home. You might have something there. So just a thought. CJ Cron flying under the radar, in my opinion. He's on He's on my radar, though. I'm watching him closely. Another guy that I like, I'm not completely sold on him, but I'm watching him closely. I like him as a player, though, and that's Corey Dickerson, Miami Marlins. Now, yes, that's the market where I watch games. I get all the Marlin games, and I watch the Marlins and all this stuff, and sure, I root them on and all that other stuff. But here's why Corey Dickerson is very interesting to me in the world of fantasy baseball. If you noticed over the years, last few years, he's been hitting more at the top of the order. And that's cool too if they want to lead him off. And he led off him a lot of last year. He's now hit in the 5th spot. Very interesting. Tonight will make it his 5th straight start batting 5th in the order. I like that because the Marlins offense really not that bad, and this gives Dickerson an opportunity to drive in some more runs. Watch Corey Dickerson and his productivity coming out of the 5th spot for the Marlins. Some pitchers. Now, let me just, guys, I'm not going to bore you with my team. That's not the purpose of me making this video, is to bore you with my fantasy team. That's definitely not it. When the last few years, though, in my head-to-head league, for just my own personal preference, I've been favoring offense, meaning I've been drafting more offense. It's just been easier for me to do. It's been a little bit more predictable for me to do that. Perhaps part of that reason is that pitching tends to be maybe more so than ever more unpredictable with some of these starting pitchers, and it's getting really difficult. There's not as many sure things. You pitch 5 innings a game now, and you're an all-star. Wow, he pitched into the 6th. I mean, that's like an incredible thing. So I think starting pitching obviously is very important if you're in a head-to-head league, of course, and if you want to, let's say you're doing a daily contest, a daily game, and you want to go ahead and they have the cap, the dollar cap, and that'll the pretend, if you will, salary cap. You can go ahead in either way, but if you're wrong on that and you went in big on a pitcher and he doesn't pitch great or really well, you could be paying the price with your team. Your team would be suffering in other areas. So for me, I like offense these days, but a couple of pitchers I have my eye on is Drew Smyly, Atlanta Braves. He was sidelined. See, the Braves are going to put up some runs this year, in my opinion. Smyly he did surrender 5 runs his last start, though, as I am talking to you about him. He went 4 innings. Yeah, he took the loss. That was on the 25th, so that was Sunday. He took the loss against Arizona. But then his other 2 starts, he went 5 and 6 innings. Not too bad, and he pitches for the Braves, which, again, that is going to be a good team when all is said and done. His ERA is high, though, so far. Let's see. We need to see a little more to Drew Smyly, but he's not in a bad spot. You see, he's not in a bad spot. You could find guys like this if you just roll up your sleeves, do some homework, and you certainly could find a few here and there. A guy that's pitched well for the Marlins, seen him a few times, is Trevor Rogers, pitching good. Marlins staff underrated this year. Rogers has good ERA this year, good whip, walks, hits, innings pitched. That's just something else to consider, when you're looking at guys and starters and things like that. So these are just some other pitchers that I'm looking at. I know I'm not looking at the camera, guys. I'm looking over here, checking out a few names for you. Now, some other pitchers that I like, you got like Charlie Morton is also. Now, Charlie Morton on Atlanta, so I kind of like that too. I like that whole setup. And you got to like Morton as a starter. So there's good ones out there, guys, plenty of good ones. And Morton is, if you go last year, he was 2-2, shortened season. ERA was around 4.74, which is high for him. I like him to bounce back pretty good this year, guys. I don't know. So these are just some other things to keep in mind. We'll take a look at the Rockies. Be careful with the pitchers. Got to be sure on that. You know, Arozarena, it looks like Tampa Bay. That wasn't a one-year wonder thing. He's here to stay. He's definitely here to stay, guys. Blake Snell pitching for the Padres. Got to like that. There's a lot of good ones. Another thing, if you're in a head-to-head league, saves, all right, closers can be overrated. Why do I say that? Because it can be very overrated, especially if your categories are out of the bullpen holds and saves. Don't shy away from building up your holds or getting a couple of guys that can get you holds. Setup man, don't shy away from that. One of the reasons why is a guy that is a setup man, he can get tagged with a blown save depending on the situation, as can, of course, a closer. But you can't get tagged with a negative hold, if that makes sense. If you win the holds category in most leagues, if not all of them that I'm aware of, that's just like you're winning the saves category. So having good setup men, a couple of them, can pay off for you in your head-to-head league. Keep that in mind, guys. Find some setup guys. Because everyone, sometimes, you know, it's more fun to get that good closer, but if they mess up or they get into a slump, forget it. It like wipes out half your pitching stats. You know, your ERA's in the toilet, so is your whip, your walks, hits, innings pitched, all that stuff. So take a close look at these things, guys. Leave me some comments below. Let me know who you like. There was a guy here on Texas I see who is getting a lot of play, if you will. He's getting a lot of ads in the league, or in various leagues. His last name's Garcia, first name Adolis Garcia. For the Rangers, looks like he bats right in the middle of the lineup, fourth or fifth in the Texas Ranger lineup. And he is hitting around 265, 5 homers going into Monday's games. So you may want to give him a look. He's not not even in some leagues half the rosters from what I'm seeing, guys. So that's another one. A lot of interest, it seems, lately. Kolten Wong, Milwaukee Brewers. Another guy, J.D. Davis, New York Mets. J.D. Davis hitting. These are just guys trying to fly under the radar, guys. Just going to give you some ideas. He hits anywhere from 4th to 6th or 7th sometimes for the Mets. One last one for the Cubs, Nico Horner. And he led off. So the Cubs had Nico Horner batting 8th and 7th and 8th in their lineup. And he wasn't starting until the 23rd. So he had 8th, 7th, and then he led off today to start the game against the Braves. So check that out, guys. Nico Horner plays second, third, or short. You can use him at a few different positions. So we can go on forever, guys. Have fun with fantasy baseball. It would be cool to put together a few more videos for you guys on fantasy. I love fantasy sports, so this is the first one I've ever done for fantasy sports. So let me know what you think. Leave me a few comments. We'll talk again soon. See you soon. Bye for now.